Greetings, sentient beings. This stream is not intended for children. It may contain harsh language and adult themes. So, anyway, this is going to be the wrap up for the night for my fundraiser, which I've had a lot of wonderful people helping with. Um, we had started with a bit of tea in Danish, and Queer Light Bright, Mr. Bear, Ansgard Odison, Angie, and Neil have all run the streams for a couple hours. So after this, we're going to be taking a break so everybody can sleep for a while. But then at 6 a.m., One Ring is going to pick it up on his string. And after One Ring, Bad Tempered Badger and Dick Dawson will pick it up. And then that will run into Diana's Coffee with Lavender.
Which is awesome.
So right now we're sitting at a total of $1,862.30, and we have a goal of 2,500. So it's looking pretty good here. Just need a little more help to get us over the top of it. But things are moving along well.
And you have apartment waiting for you.
Yes, we have already given the building manager checks for the apartment that are post dated to the first. So as long as I transfer the money from the PayPal in time for it to get there by the first, that'll all be covered.
That's awesome. And a little nerve wracking.
Yeah, the GoFundMe may potentially take a little longer to get there, but that'll be there'll be a few other things there'll be a little more of a delay on. So we've got it worked out, and I think I've got the timing worked out for all of this. So everything should go pretty good here.
Well, consider how little time we've had and how far we've come. That I think we've done a good job.
Yeah, I'm it's going really well here. People have really come forward and really helped me out a lot.
I think it's amazing because I know what it means to be, in a position and have people rise up and help you.
Yeah.
It's an incredible
Well,
feeling.
and part of it is where I'm living now, it's been so hard for me to get any work. Even though I've cut my rates to be less than half of what I was charging a couple of years ago, everyone in this town is so broke that even though they need the services, nobody can afford to hire me. So just getting into a mid-sized city, my earning potential will be greatly increased.
So,
Oh, and there's Artie. Hello.
I'm huge. Huge.
Yeah.
Nuts.
We're just tiny little dots next to Artie.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Glad I changed clothes. The dress I had on earlier would not have been appropriate.
sorry about that. Artie.
Hi.
Hello, handsome.
Oh, I love it when you say that. It makes me feel dirty.
Come here, little piggy.
Show mommy how easy.
Let me see
Okay.
Hey.
Anyway.
And in the side chat, I see Doc Fearson, Be Mindful, Robert X, and IQ will be shilling for us.
Which is awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, IQ and Critical Cripple have both been amazing for this. They have been throwing my links out in chats and channels I didn't even know about.
That's I hear that a lot. I'm usually accused of putting my genitalia in places I don't recall it ever having been.
I
I find it disturbing that the social media and the press can't keep their eyes and focus off of my genitalia.
Uh, yep. Hi, Jenny.
It's frustrating. It's
it
hurtful.
is.
And I'm sure Jenny would be in here with us, but unfortunately, StreamYards doesn't like to cooperate well with portable devices, and apparently her tablet just doesn't handle it well.
Let's face it, she's famous for her portable devices.
Yeah, well, we need to somehow get her an actual computer. Okay, sorry, that one went right by me. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just brain dead from everything I've had to be doing this week.
I'm not mad at you. How could I be?
I don't know, my family seems to find it easy enough to do.
Yeah, well, I don't remember fucking anybody in your family, so that removes that option.
Well, this is also part of why I want to have the state of Wisconsin in between me and my family.
I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people have said.
Yeah, I find 300 miles to be about the right distance.
Yeah,
That they can't expect me to show up at all the family gatherings, just maybe once or twice a year.
when I was, let's see, when I first graduated from college, I got as far away from literally this place as I could, and I moved out to the West Coast and found out why people don't stay in LA for very long. And then I moved back and I moved to the next furthest place that I could go that I could
Mhm.
afford to go and have a career, which I heard you talking about earlier, which is obviously an important thing. And that was sufficiently far away that my mom didn't show up and say, "I'm going to clean your," and then go through all your shit, which was better than right now. So right now I live not sufficiently far enough away from my mom that she won't just come over and say, "I'm going to clean your."
I hate to admit this, but I've done that to my neighbor.
Comfortable.
You know, I almost wish that my family would try that.
Hey,
I
Last
have found the best tactic I've found for dealing with my family is to always give them honest and complete answers. It keeps them from asking very many questions.
oh my. Well, mm, last month my sister had a birthday, so I went to her house while she wasn't home. And there's an echo. Is that me?
Yeah, I think that's coming from you. I'm not sure. I'm checking my end too.
Oh, that's weird. But I found out that she was going to be gone for a few days, and what I did was I cleaned her house completely.
see, in that kind of circumstance, that's fine. What I'm guessing didn't happen was that your mom didn't or you did not go through your friend's shit and try to sort it for them.
I cleaned her shoes, her bookshelves. I didn't go into closets or drawers. It's not my business. But
That's
I
weird.
did do all her sheets and towels.
Yeah, because closets and drawers is kind of where my mom started.
Oh, yeah, closets and drawers are too much unless you're asked to.
Yeah,
Because I've had to take apart closets and do the cedar oil thing,
right.
and that's fine, but it's not my business to look inside things.
Yeah, see, around here we don't do the cedar oil thing so much as we do the Murphy's oil soap thing.
I love Murphy's. I use that, but I've been asked to do like cedar chests and
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
not well. I'm not that those things don't exist around here. They do, but most of the oiling goes to. I'm pretty sure my Amish landlord would love for me to Murphy's oil the shit out of this place, but considering the amount of effort that went into it before I moved in, it's not a likely thing to happen.
Mm,
Yeah,
I
well,
do that daily. Hmm.
Oh,
it
I've got
depends
it in a
somewhat on what you're
bottle, but
dealing with.
Hmm.
That the actual cedar oil is a better insect repellent if that's something that's a major problem.
yeah, in California that would have been a great thing.
That's where I'm from,
I'm not.
technically.
Show off.
Uh,
I didn't know you were from California. Where are you from?
Madeira County.
Ventura County.
No, Madeira.
Oh, I was like Inland Empire. You're kidding. Madeira. That's northern mid.
uh, Pretty much it's. Oh, I'm trying to visualize it on the map because I was raised in New Jersey, so California is kind of weird for me. But yeah, Madeira County, kind of high desert area.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
northern mid.
Hmm. I spent some time in Lake Tahoe and things like that. It's
Yeah,
one of
that
the
would be.
places we lived for a while. Gorgeous, but expensive.
Yeah. It's true of most of California. Even the shitty parts, like Bakersfield.
Oh, well, that's like what, serial killer hotbed?
I think so. Something like that.
No, but oh god, cleaning is what I do best. I think I would drive your mother nuts.
No, you would drive me nuts.
And I'd enjoy
Yeah, you
it.
would thrill my mother.
Uh,
uh,
Look how tidy and dusted everything is.
you know the doors with the groove slats?
Yeah.
Um, I brought over bamboo sticks, the kind that you usually do skewers at the barbecue with, wrapped it with a washcloth, and I did all her doors slat by slat. And I'm
Here's the
like,
thing.
yes.
I will go 3 years without ever doing that, and
Uh,
then I will do that exact thing. I'm if I'm going to clean it, I'm going to make a huge difference.
hmm
So
She
like
has a lot of taxidermy too, and one of the things is an armadillo, and I love dusting the armadillo.
it was really weird before I moved into this place in the town that my parents live. My mom actually paid extra for like 3 days rent so she could come in and clean.
Oh
And yeah,
no. Sorry.
and and I after I've lived here for a while, I start getting to the point where I'm deep cleaning some shit,
Uh-huh.
and I realize that she has not deep cleaned this shit. Like the pulls on all the hardware in the kitchen. I just assumed that my mom had cleaned that shit thoroughly. Not
Most
just
people don't. Most people don't. But you know what I do? This is a dirty little secret.
remove them and put them in dish soap like I did.
Yeah, but um, I watch YouTube videos on cleaning, especially obsessive compulsive cleaners. So I picked up some tricks that I can't not do now, like things with dental floss in the oven.
Oh yeah, these no, these were literally what's it's,
I'm sorry, I'm stuck way back here. I'm still trying to find a way to interpret I love dusting the armadillo as anything that doesn't come out as a king
oh
kong.
yeah, that's very much like fluffing your Garfield.
No, no, there's an armadillo on her fireplace. It's adorable. It's got little body hairs in weird places.
Yeah.
I think everybody should have the corpse of an animal that carries an STI with it.
Now don't blame the armadillos. We gave them the STI in the
I'm
first
not
place.
blaming anyone, and I'm not sure that that's true. I don't know how. I don't know how you fuck an armadillo.
Not
Hang on.
necessarily that anybody had to fuck it,
Well,
but
no, I'm giving it some thought. I'm not kidding. Just give me a
yeah.
second.
Um.
How else
Apparently, it.
might how else might
At,
you?
okay, I have never lived in a state where there were wild armadillos.
Oh,
But as I understand it, in some of these states, armadillo wrestling is a popular pastime.
I'm sure it is. But I was in Florida, which I'm sure is one of the. Well, I know is one of those states. And while we're on a resort, and while this armadillo was kind of running from one building to the other, we're not chasing it or anything. We're just traveling alongside it as much as anything. And while we're staring at this armadillo that's traveling alongside with us, a cat falls out of the tree next to us and lands on the ground next to me. Now, Artemis, because I'm on vacation, is high as fuck. And the fact that we're tracking the armadillo is kind of entertaining in and of itself. And certainly sufficiently enthralling that you wouldn't expect to have anything. A fucking cat fell out of a tree and landed right next to me while I'm tracking an armadillo. A little bit of poop came out. I'm not going to lie.
That's hysterical.
It was. You will get to learn about the people that were there with me and know why it is that it's astonishing that I didn't actually shit myself. Because the people that were with me, I'll tell you about them. You'll even meet one of them. One of them you can't; she's dead. But the other one, you might meet her.
Okay.
It was. It was one of those moments where up to that moment I had never laughed that fucking hard in my life ever. I was literally debilitated with laughter because I'm tracking a fucking armadillo on one side of me and then a cat falls out of a tree on the other side of me.
That's wonderful, actually.
Yeah, no.
I only made my family laugh like that once, where everyone was incapacitated.
Yeah, I was just
I
spitting
was
laughter.
being I was being serious though when it happened. And I I said a thing after a long day, and I had like changed the entire day, and I was the youngest person at the table. I'm just not even a teenager. And I said something very like terse, and next thing you know, they're all dying. And I
Yeah,
don't
no, I can't remember. There was something that I had said about the armadillo right before the cat fell out of the tree. By the way,
something about an STD or
no, it wasn't.
okay.
It was about how nothing more weird than this could happen because we're all fucked up, stoned and drunk, walking through this fucking resort when this armadillo pops out of a shrub, and then we're just walking along with the armadillo when a cat falls out of the tree.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask, but I was wondering why you were tracking an armadillo in the first
We
place.
really weren't tracking it so much as just walking. We were heading in the same direction. We were headed to a place up the beach, off the beach because it was really fucking hot that day, and we were off the beach under the trees. And then this armadillo kind of lunged out towards us, and then took a left and just kind of traveled alongside us from one building to the next, from
Oh,
one
that's funny.
set of
That's
shrubs to the
weird.
next. Yeah, no, it was no. Everything about this was fucking weird. Everything about this was fucking weird. The people I was with were weird. The buzz I had was weird. I'd never seen a fucking armadillo before, let alone thought that they existed in Florida was weird. And then there was the fucking cat that fell out of a goddamn tree.
Oh my goodness, you would get along with my family big
Oh my
time.
I, 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 I literally hit the ground laughing. I was laughing so hard I could not keep my feet. I hit the ground laughing. And
As
that's
far as
probably what kept me from shitting my pants.
yeah, as far as the cat part goes, I had a somewhat similar experience.
Really?
Well, just my sister had this black cat, and while she was out of town, I was watching her apartment. So this was back in the 80s, and I was watching the movie Critters on cable.
Oh, this is going to be a
If
good
anyone
story.
doesn't know it, Critters, yeah, they're just these little fur balls. Basically, they're like carnivorous tribbles with unstoppable appetites. So they're just these little black fur balls that are eating everything. And I was watching that movie, and I went out, and it turned out her black cat was sitting not on the windowsill, but up on top of the window frame. And when she saw me come out, jumped down onto my, basically jumping down on top of me. And because of the movie I just been seeing, I just spun around with one arm out and I hit the cat in midair.
Oh,
She completely flew down the entire flight of steps without touching a single step and hit the wall. I no, I
oh,
would have never done this intentionally, but just she
I
scared the
know.
shit out of me in that moment.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, there's already back.
Super Kitty! Sorry,
Oh my
Uh,
that's
goodness.
what I pictured with the flying cat.
yeah,
I had a cat that. Never mind. She didn't really think she could fly.
Patsy always tried to climb me, so I've got all the scars. I've got a lot of scars.
yeah. I'm
Scars!
pretty sure
I'm
that
an amputee!
if you try to drop test from any height, I am pretty sure that Sloth Girl's cat Petunia would not necessarily land on her feet. Um,
Aww.
Yeah.
jumping up on the bed, jumping up on the bed seems to be a bit of a struggle for her.
Aww. Kitty.
Shorty's getting to the point where she has
Yeah,
to.
she's just a very big cat. We're pretty sure there's some Maine Coon in there. She weighs something like 18 or 19 pounds.
My grandma had a Blue Point Siamese that was that size.
I've told you about Morgan, haven't I?
Yep.
He was 35 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah,
Google.
just Petunia and
Wait. Google Blue Point Siamese cat.
They're pretty.
They're teeny tiny. They're pretty. They're skinny. It was a cool cat. It died. Grandma died when the cat was 3 or 4 years old.
Hmm.
My mom had gotten it for her as a Christmas present one year. It cat's name was Lucky because it survived a car accident that my mom had because she was driving it home on a country road and looked down to see where the cat was and went
Oh
into,
no.
went into a ditch and hit a culvert and had the whole underside of the Buick ripped out from under it and launched in the air and
mm,
she came out of it with no noticeable damage except to say that
yeah.
she hurt.
You know that That's one of my biggest concerns about this move is I'm building a cat kennel to fit in the back of my car. So Sloth Girl is going to be driving the car with the two cats in it. And my biggest concern is that either they will make so much noise they will drive her nuts and she will get distracted and drive off the road, or the cats will somehow figure out a way to open it and crawl under her feet while she's driving.
Can I make a suggestion? And I mean this absolutely sincerely, if that's a concern. Noise canceling headphones.
And the other thing is go to the vet and get a sedative for Kitty.
Yeah, well, we have
I do
we
the
have
headphones.
sedatives for kitties already.
Yeah, I do the headphones
Um,
before I drug the cats if I could.
yeah, Petunia, we've used it on before when we've had to take her to the groomer. I have never tried to give Sammy's son a pill, so I don't know how it's going to affect him.
I got sedatives for Rudy when I moved her from LA to Indiana, and we got as far as Bakersfield, and I got her out of the truck, and it was really fucking windy, and she got out, and all four legs just splayed out from under her. So I had to
Um,
hold her up so she could pee.
Mhm.
And from that moment on, I realized that she was never getting those pills again, but those were going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, actually,
Those
the
pills were a lot of
sedative that the vet gave for Petunia turned out to be 100 milligrams of gabapentin, which is one of the prescriptions I'm already getting.
Yeah, that's a pretty
So
significant
rather
amount
than
for a
paying the
fucking
vet
cat.
$12 a pill, I'm just going to give him a couple of mine.
I would cut them into a quarter.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
way too much.
Actually, for Petunia, we need to give her two of them.
What?
Mm-mm.
Yep. And the 100 milligrams was what the vet prescribed, but with Petunia, you give her just one of them, and it really doesn't do much. And within 2 hours, it's gone.
That's like saying this is enough ketamine for your cat. Well, it's enough for my cat, your cat. Those people
Yeah.
out there with
Well, I'm surprised
everybody
that
in
it
the
took that
school
much
with a
on her,
cat.
but yeah.
Most of the people that live within 3 or 4 blocks from these cats. But it's certainly enough for my cat.
Well,
Oh,
that's
my sister
yeah.
Tish, she has got pit bull that she's had forever, but before she adopted it, it was burned pretty badly with kerosene. So it's pretty scarred and not a pretty dog, if you know what I mean. But has a regular prescription for like zero 0.5 of Clonopin
Yeah.
for the anxieties because someone poured kerosene on the dog and tried to set it on fire.
Oh God.
Yeah, I would think that anything that was bright or sparked or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I get that.
Puppy's a little nervous, but
Yeah.
a very
A
good
smoker
dog.
could not have that dog.
No, no, but very good dog. Very, very. She's had her for, I think, 14 years. No behavioral issues, but has to keep the anxiety down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice dog, though.
All of my dogs have had some irrational something.
Hmm.
Rudy, not afraid of pretty much anything. And then there were fireworks, and she wasn't afraid of fireworks. Here's Rudy was mad at fireworks, and here's where that came from. And I watched it happen, and I was astonished. And then I realized, oh yeah, that's who that bitch is.
Artie,
Huh.
you have to read the chat.
I had to. Oh,
You have to read the chat.
I can't read the chat.
They're talking about what you have amputated. They want to know.
Doorknob said something about asking if you had something amputated. If everyone on the panel here had some kind of body part taken off.
Oh, well, certainly somewhere there's a necklace with my foreskin on it.
Okay, because you did mention being an amputee. I thought, or at least that's what it sounded like. Or are you talking about my toe?
Yeah, I wasn't clear where the reference came from because I must have missed the line.
Yeah, and now I'm so fucked off that I have no idea what the hell I was talking about.
Ah,
You pe- you people are evil.
I'm guessing it was part of the armadillo story, but
Yeah,
Only doorknob
no, there was.
knows.
okay, I
I,
guess not.
I swear I wore a condom.
Well, actually, he's always wearing the sunglasses because he has no eyeballs. But other
Yeah,
than that,
my eyes are really close together. They're very squinty, and largely, well, this one is dead, and this one is a different. This one is a different color than the dead one. So it's just awkward. So I don't. Oh, that's a lie. No,
well, you've said it on the internet, so it must be true.
it's true. I have given the real reason on the interwebs. So I'm sure there's a wiki page somewhere that tells the story of why I wear the sunglasses. In fact, I most recently told it to Math Pig.
But it's so much more fun if there are conflicting stories going around.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The story I just told is every bit as true as the fact that uh, yeah, I fucked myself. I led myself up to a thing that I just couldn't jump into. It's every bit as true as the fact that my parents own the Dolphins,
Okay.
and and I have used my portion of what they have allotted to me in the support of the Crayola Corporation in their effort to turn railroads into things that are more brightly colored so that the world can see them more easily. It's a long fucking walk, but
I love it.
so I would like to say thank you to the Crayola Corporation for the work for the work they're doing and the visibility of railroads movement.
See, I love the way crayons smell.
Yeah, back
Well,
in
that's
the
what they've done with the.
1990s,
That's kind of what they've done with the railroads in the southern climates. The railroads having been coated with Crayola crayons, you'll be able to smell them as you approach them, so you will know instinctively slow down just to take it all in.
That's awesome.
Is that burnt sienna? Smells like mango. Is that mango sunrise? Is that mango sunrise?
Is that
Flesh. When I was a kid, there was a color called flesh.
yeah, there was a
yeah?
color called flesh, and back in the 1990s, they started getting some flack about that, and they
Yeah.
released a limited series called Flesh Tones of the World,
I
where they
had that
had,
series.
yeah, it was like 8 different colors that were supposed to be for the people on different continents. I don't think it went over the way they intended it to.
What's funny is that I feel like I'm pretty confident that I never got above the 24 color box.
Ah,
And what's the irony in and of that is that I never got a box that was more than the 24 colors. And yet, as I was graduating from college, I had a parent say, "I wish you had done more with your art." Oh, a little bit of inspiration might have been helpful, but
Yeah, I understand.
now see, I think Crayola missed, you know, cashing in on the geek market I think they should have done a flesh tones of the universe so that we could have had colors like, Klingon and Orsinian, like all the races from Star Trek.
That would have been great.
I think it would have just inspired more bigotry.
You think so?
Well,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. We're having a problem now because all the mature trees have been cut down, so we need more bigger trees.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Wow. This is where all my puns react.
I'm so amused.
That was bone crushingly. Oh, that was a good one.
I'll have to repeat that one tomorrow when Kate's around.
Yeah, don't do it in front of me because I'll just get angry.
Well, see, I need you to set it up for me.
Nope, that's not a thing that's going to happen. You're on your own. I don't inspire anyone to do a pun twice.
Oh, it's fun.
I won't do it. That's why I don't do 2 shows a night. I won't do it.
Yeah, I think you're going on 3.
Yeah, I kind of am actually, technically, I think this is 4.
Really?
Well, yeah, because I did a return and then another return. So I did a thing and then another thing, and then I went back to a thing, and then this is another version of that thing.
Well, it only counts for ones that there were separate hosts in.
Don't you tell me what it counts for.
Hey, Doc.
Hello. There was a pun told on the internet somewhere. I was obliged to come.
Yeah, could you fix it?
I see. That's how you're summing it.
You
That's
didn't have to
always
hear it
fun.
3 times. You just need to hear the one time, and you appear, and don't you
Oh,
conjure some shit or say something angry? Come on, fix it.
I'm being lazy. I can't see the chat. I'm in bed.
The chat's pretty quiet, actually. Doorknob Head's the only one who
Hey,
seems to
Faye.
be saying anything.
Yeah.
Do that again.
What?
Do it
I'm all
again.
curled up.
do it again.
What you? Now I'm blushing. I don't know what I'm very comfortable right now.
That's what I'm about. Awkward.
Awkward. No, I like my bed. It's very comfortable.
Artemis, what's the flag behind you there? The blue with the gold torch.
Hang on. Let me see if I can do this with the right hand. This one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Indiana flag.
Okay, that's the state flag.
It's also the Michael Keaton Batman.
Is it?
It's also the Gotham City flag from that version of Batman. The exact same thing, except instead of Indiana, it says Gotham, right? That's really fucking hard. No
That's
wonder,
really weird.
yeah, especially the way I go. Oh, okay. Oh, 2 fingers. Oh,
So
What?
Gotham City is when the entire state of Indiana grows into be a single city.
yeah. That's why Mike Pence is.
Eh.
White man. Is there a thing in the planet that is more white than fucking Mike Pence? I don't mean like just in the United States. I mean maybe in the entirety of the cosmos. Is there a more Caucasian guy than Mike?
Well,
All
there,
I
there
know
were
is
times that my fiance used to look at me and say, "You're so white."
Yeah, fuck you. Look at Mike Pence. He's looked like that for 30 years.
Yeah.
except for Mike Pence is bland, 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 inside and out, bland.
Yeah, he's Steve Martin White without any of any of the rest.
Personality. Yeah.
Well, my fiance's best friend was half Native American and half black, and she used to call me Saltine.
That's harsh.
Well, come on.
I,
I've got the Scandinavian skin tone from the Finnish.
I was just
You
gonna
know,
say.
in the winter, if I stood in front of a snowbank, you wouldn't be able to see me.
I was gonna say. I just hope you had an equally insulting cracker reference about her color.
Oh, no, she was good.
Hey, I'm sorry. My mother had black hair and green eyes and white skin, and she could sunburn to fireworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, wheat thin, or all right, water cracker. What are those water?
Well, see,
What
that's
are
the
the
thing.
water?
I'm seasonal. In the
You're
winter, I go
seasonal.
completely Scandinavian. By midsummer, I'm Eastern European.
I get very German if I allow myself to see enough sunlight.
Yeah, because my mom's side is Finnish and my dad's side is Polish, and my skin tone just flips with the season.
Yeah, I got Polish calves. You got Polish calves?
I'm not sure what you mean by Polish calves.
Well, you got fat calves.
Yeah,
You
well,
mean like real calves?
Well,
yeah.
calves like your people used to pull things behind them for a living. That kind of
Well,
calf.
yeah, I got that, but also when I was younger, I used to, you know, do a lot of biking. Like I did bicycle marathons that I had, I would do like up to 75 miles in a day.
My mom's family is sufficiently Polish that they had to take a letter from the Polish alphabet that doesn't exist in English and make that a G.
Hmm.
Yep. Well,
And that's why I'm this stupid looking. Fact of the matter is, I'm also German, which makes this dumb look deceitful.
in both sides of my family, when they came into this country, the immigration officials couldn't fit the names on the form, so they chopped at least a syllable out of each one.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Oh, my mother just burns and burns and burns. And I used to watch. Oh, what was it? Like the animal shows when we were kids, already.
The Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
yeah,
I
that
think so. I think so.
was
One time we saw a reptile shedding its skin and then eating it, and I'm like, "Mom, don't start that. Next time you burn." She's like, "You bitch." So later, because I kept referring to my mother as a peeling lizard, when she turned 50, I gave her a birthday card that said it had a little lizard on the front. It said, "If I were as old as you," and you opened it up, and it said, "I'd be a belt by now."
yeah,
So
and yes, doorknob, you're correct.
what?
That
Oh,
that
you
the
didn't see me highlight that one.
Mike Pence crayon isn't flesh; it's just white.
Well, do you know what? He reminds me of the American Eagle Muppet.
Yeah, it's not even white; it's crisp white. It's what mother is willing to call white white.
Mother? What mother calls white white? That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
now I'm thinking of the Family Guy episode where he gets stopped and the cop holds up like a sheet of paint chips against him to check the flesh tone if he's white enough.
Oh
Mike Pence had a radio show, a successful radio show in Indiana before he was governor, or
no!
before he was a
What?
senator. Before he was a senator, he had a successful radio show. This
Successful.
this fucking state is creepy. This
Explain.
it
Oh,
really was
sorry, Kitty, didn't see you down there.
the last national headquarters for the Ku Klux Klan is
Hmm.
within 30 miles of where I'm sitting right
Ew.
Oh,
Ew. Ugh.
now. Indiana is hostile to most of what is liberal, and we still went for Obama the first year he ran.
I don't know how to interpret that. Does that mean there's hope, or
It means
what
there's
does that
always
mean?
it's like what was the line in Dumb and Dumber? Like 1 in a million. So there's a chance.
Yeah. But let us not forget that Indiana is the state that tried to legislate that the value of pi should be 3.
What?
Oh, let's wait. If we're gonna start throwing stones, Tennessee needs to catch all that shit, and
Yeah.
Kentucky deserves its share for having that fucking boat with an elevator in it built there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
Indiana's fucked
a
up. No,
couple of
you're right.
years ago in the Indiana legislature, somebody actually introduced a bill to make the value of pi equal to 3 to make math simpler.
I would be happy well, I would be
Boy.
happy for everyone to know my real name, except that it is legal for my Amish landlord to deny me a lease in the following year because he found out that I'm an atheist. That's a thing that's fucking legal here.
Yeah, I
That's
know that
crazy.
still goes in some states.
It's contrary to the Constitution, but good luck finding a judge and an attorney that will try it and try it. It's a little dim here, man. Shit's a little fucked up.
Hey, Neil.
Hi, Pilot.
Yeah, in some states it is still legal to
Hello.
deny someone a lease based on their religion.
Yeah. Well, the best part is it's according to your sincerely held religious beliefs. In fact, that's a legal defense against any charge. From
Yeah,
a parking ticket to homicide, your sincerely held religious beliefs are a legal defense that the court must entertain as a
What?
matter of law.
unfortunately, that's also something that's actually become more common over the last few years.
Yeah, no, Indiana's not alone in having a law like that.
Yeah, but I
More
mean,
severe,
there
ours
there
is more
were
severe than most, but
there
there's a
were places
lot of
that had
states,
actually passed laws against that sort of thing that the
right?
laws have been rolled back recently.
Yeah, no, the United States are kind of fucked up.
That's true.
We've allowed ourselves to tolerate some pretty crazy shit, and some of it
Yeah.
we've tolerated it just as a matter of habit.
And that has been the part of Trump being in office that I have really found the hardest to take is not just Trump himself, but I had honestly believed our country was doing a lot better than it apparently is.
Oh,
I
I thought
just
Right.
that
didn't,
too.
I knew there were some racist people. I just didn't realize there were nearly so many.
I wrote, God, this was a long time ago, 2006 ish. No, it hadn't been at whenever right after maybe 2 years into George W. Bush, and I'd written this story on Facebook. I don't know, it's probably 1,500 words about how I thought the United States was heading in an obvious direction that no amount of conservatism, regardless of how it was cloaked, could negate the fact that this was an obviously good direction we were heading, and eventually, it wasn't even 3 years later, somebody sent that back to me as a response, as kind of a snarky "fuck you in your face" kind of thing. And while it was flattering as fuck to have something you'd written 3 years previous thrown back at you, it was, obviously a little bit insulting for them to say, well, what is this? What you believe? And I'm like, well, yeah, I literally fucking wrote that.
Yep.
And yes, I really did think that we were headed in an obviously good direction where we would continue to do the things that we were doing that were good for society. And I was fucking wrong.
Okay, Math Pig, I'm glad you clarified that. For a moment, I thought you were telling us to kill ourselves.
What?
Well,
Math Pig came in and said, "Stop being live."
Oh.
why the fuck is Math Pig still awake? You
I think Math Pig is
sadistic-
wondering the same thing, actually. I had just been talking to him on Twitter right before the stream started, and he said he was trying to go to sleep, and that's why he couldn't come in here.
You self-loathing fuck. How can you be so mad at yourself as to still be awake and listening to anything that I have to say? God, that's
Well,
All I
to
know.
be fair, he was listening to Darth Dawkins, so you're a huge improvement.
no. At this point, this is insulting to me. How dare
All I
you listen
know.
to something that I've got to say at this fucking
Yeah,
hour?
he says he's on a YouTube high.
Yeah, fucking hell. It's my Irish accent. Fucking L.
All I know is I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight.
Oh, you wake up every 2 hours screaming until someone feeds you?
That's a good point.
Till
Maybe
somebody
not
throws
like
a
a
nipple in their
baby.
mouth.
How about like a dead baby?
Wow, that got dark.
I'm sorry.
We could have gone
Kind
with
of what
sleep
I'm
like a
known
log.
for.
It was wrong. I said it was dark.
Oh. Yeah, I'm still looking for someone who can give me some tutoring in how to sleep.
Oh, there's more than a few steps. You have to do all of them for proper sleep hygiene.
Yeah, well, and I've been going to sleep specialists, and he went down a 5-page list with me, and I'm already doing all of that. And he
Okay.
said that I'm already doing all the right things, and concluded after 2 years that my brain wiring is just screwed and there's nothing he can do to help me. My brain just doesn't know how to shut down.
Mine does, but it keeps doing it while I'm behind the wheel.
Oh no.
I do sometimes have that problem. And that's why I don't really like to drive, and that's why Sloth Girl usually drives.
Okay, see, I was kidding.
No, if I've gotten to a point of being too sleep deprived, I have had the problem that I'm having trouble keeping my eyes open driving.
Yeah, here's the thing that has always kept me alive. I don't know if this will work for everyone, but here is my secret to staying alive while you drive. My dogs are in the back seat. That's my thing. It does it every time. Am I going to do this thing? Well, dogs are in the back seat, so I probably shouldn't do that thing. And if one of those things is you are really high, maybe you should not drive. I won't drive. And by the same token, I will get stone sober. I'll be behind the wheel and I'll be driving. I'm like, I'm really fucking sleepy right now. But the dogs are in the back seat.
Yep.
So I'll do a thing.
Uh-huh.
That's my secret to staying alive behind the wheel. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Do it
well,
for the
no,
dogs.
I
Beautiful,
will.
man.
When I get to that point, I try to find a place I can, at least pull over to put the seat back and rest my eyes for half an hour.
Yeah, no, I sincerely, the only time I've ever seriously given some thought to taking my own life, I was behind the wheel and there was a dog in the back seat, that I decided did not deserve to die because of my negligence, stupidity, whatever the fuck I was going through. So I didn't do that. And it has worked for me every other time since. So I just recommend it that if you've not been in that position,
All I know is I don't want to take my next eye exam
Oh,
because I can't read signs at night at all.
yeah.
My vision doubles a bit, and it's kind of hard to read signs. It's not been good.
I'm getting there myself, but it's not day or night that matters for me. I'm just getting that way. I'm nearsighted anyways.
see, here's the
No,
thing.
It's
I can
getting
cover
worse.
one eye and it's still doubled.
Here's the thing. They did teach you to recognize signs by the shape for a reason
Yeah,
Hmm.
because
that's what I've been using.
of illiteracy, but it also works for I just can't fucking see a seat.
Well, for me, it's a different problem. It has to do with the dyslexia that I can't read, text that's moving.
Hey, Purple.
So it's the same thing when I'm driving that it's not staying at a constant distance and I can't really make out the words very well.
Purple, as a dyslexic, is it even a little bit funny to hear someone say "slisdexic"?
It doesn't offend me or anything. I don't really see the humor.
All right. Just
Although I
curious.
make jokes about it myself. I say I'm a dyslexic, agnostic insomniac. So I lie awake at night contemplating the existence of dog.
That's cute.
Just wondering about the it's obviously a dark sense of humor that
Yeah.
would find that and I used to work with a guy that he was missing half of his left index finger,
Ooh.
and the rest of this true story is that he lost it while he was the union representative on the safety council.
Oh
Okay.
my.
My
That's not even the funniest part. The rest of it is that he was a mechanic, and if the number involved 10, he would say, "I can't think that high. I get stopped at 9.5."
Oh no.
no, my boyfriend's aunt is missing her leg because she was in a motorcycle accident when she was young. And she's got this coworker, because you know that old saying, "Costs you an arm and a leg."
Sure.
They're at a meeting, and somebody said, "Well, that'll cost an arm and a leg." And her coworker looked at her and said, "Too expensive for you, eh, Kathy?"
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I like that.
So you were only good for half of that, I take it.
Oh, the aunt was.
Yeah,
Aunt.
that's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I like
I like that.
dark. Don't get me wrong. I am sufficiently empathetic. I'm not sufficiently sociopathic to not be able to empathize with people who don't want to, participate in that kind of humor. But by the same token, I'm dark as fuck, and I encourage it. But I'm perfectly happy to. All right.
I think that's why I prefer like non-American television and
Yeah.
stuff. They can get pretty dark.
It can get real. What's the Scottish guy that really?
Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie Boyle. Oh God, what a fucking joy to the world that guy is, and he's so wrong.
I know.
But what a fucking joy!
Oh, it was.
He's a
I
guy
was
that will
watching
take
a.
on. He's a guy that will take on the very darkest things that you can imagine. Like there can't be a funny way out of this fucking hole. And if
Yeah.
you will allow for him to give you one, he will. He's really fucking funny.
I was watching Mock the Week and he was on, and I think it was the episode of What Would You Not Hear in the Queen's Speech, and he got up like
Yeah.
instantly and said, "I'm
I
so
thought so
old,
too.
my
I'm turning
pussy is
1K.
haunted," and I'm like, "I salute you, Frankie.
Yep,
I
that's one of the
salute you,"
funniest things ever said, ever, just ever.
and I'm like, "You did it. You killed me."
The queen is so old that her pussy is haunted.
Yep, yep. And
That
I'm
is.
just dying. I'm just dying. I'm laughing so hard.
There are so many comedians that he's drawn upon to get to that fucking joke that I can, there's Richard
Well,
Pryor, there's Steve
before,
Martin, there's everybody who's ever thought to fuck with royalty.
yeah,
Yeah, all the English comics that I can't list because I don't know them, but those are the American comics that I know he was pulling from when he said that. So fucking funny.
well, the funny thing is about him before he did stand up, he was a comedy writer, and somehow he ended up holding the mic rather than just writing for it. He's really
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
the greatest failure in my life is that the two comedians that I wrote for
Mhm.
never turned out to be shit.
Aw.
It's not my fault, it's theirs. And it's all their fault. Just kidding.
No, I'm
It is
enjoying
it is but that is why I have something almost at 20 stand-up comedians, either American, Canadian, English, UK-ish stand-up comedians that follow me on Twitter, and that's what I care about. I
Mhm.
will go on and on about how I hate the fact that I'm stuck at 1,090 followers on Twitter. I have saturated the market for like 15 months now. I've been at or near 1,090 followers on Twitter. But I have an ever increasing number of stand-up comedians that follow me. And for every one of those, it feels like 1,000 just every other people that follow me. Because I feel like I've made somebody that makes me laugh, and that feels
Yeah.
pretty fucking great.
Yeah, that is great. That is great.
The
And
fact that I have
I
conversations,
think of you as a comedian.
the fact that I have conversations with Yakov Smirnov, to me, as an American guy that grew up when the shit that he was during the Reagan era, when he was just a totem for fucking Republican shit, because he
Yeah.
was a huge I love this country is can't what a wonderful country America is wonderful. And now I talk to this fucker on Twitter.
That's
That
awesome.
fucks with a guy like me.
Matt Pig wants us to ask about Artie and Carl. And Deconverted Man said, "What is the best joke a comedian can tell?"
Best joke is the one that's the least comfortable telling. And Carl,
Carl. Sorry.
I know, right?
Carl's a
Is Carl
fucker.
the giraffe?
Yeah.
Llama.
I don't know if you got to see the video that Peter from Gonna Go For It put out that involved what was the song?
Born to be alive.
Born to Be Alive. Born to Be Alive. The disco hit from the 1977 or whatever the fuck year it was. That had a granted, there's a lot of Hitler in that, but it was put to the music of Born to Be Alive. But most of that was an adoration of Carl over here, which is why he's an awkward roommate. It's uncomfortable. He's got weird ideals. Not cool. But He pays his share of the rent, and he's mostly responsible for the amount of heat that exists in this particular room. So, what am I going to do? Kill him?
Are
That
you
just
You
seems
could
wrong.
tell him to get stuffed.
Yeah, it's a great joke. If you don't, if you have, if you're willing to suspend what you know about the passage of time, that's a funny joke.
I like it.
It is. I am willing to make that suspension.
Personally, I don't like dealing in linear time.
Well, this giraffe is already stuffed. So the getting stuffed thing,
Yep.
requires that suspension of the time thing I took. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah. Um, Carl actually shows up in a lot of Peter's art.
I'll have to pay more attention to that.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is he shows up in flash frames in the middle of something else that he's showing. But yeah, he's picked up on my appreciation for themes and has carried that through with Carl. I haven't made a lot of videos, and I haven't made very many that I'm particularly proud of, but there are a couple.
Are you going to make the one that I asked for?
Not yet.
I didn't say, did you make it? Are you going to make it?
I'm just saying that my balls are not sufficiently prepared to taste soy sauce.
Oh, come on, Artie. For me.
I'm working up to it.
Okay.
I cannot even get the concept of that.
Then you will love what I have to say about it.
Because the soy sauce would seem pointless because if men could actually taste that way, wouldn't it taste salty pretty much all the time anyway?
Or funky. And that's not even
Or
the
cheesy.
direction I'm going. That's an awesome point, but that's not even the direction I'm going. Yeah, you would think that our minds would always taste
Something?
funk or talc
Or cheese?
or yeah, foot.
Okay, Doorknob Head is making some very rude comments about Carl.
You know what? Doorknob makes a lot of lewd comments.
Which I appreciate
Yeah,
very
I
much.
Not why I don't love Doorknob.
I really, really do.
He does keep the chat lively.
Hey, when Artie and Doorknob are in girls' night chats, I lose my mind trying not to laugh. I sometimes I have to mute myself just to get through.
Yeah, see,
It's just wrong.
Doorknob has made some comments that absolutely justify Doorknob's name. And if you can't picture in your head why someone would name themselves Doorknob, you are missing the fucking point.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, I can come up with 2 reasons for the name, and they
I
both
think they're
fit.
both correct, Purple.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single entendre going on there.
Meanwhile, Math Pig's writing, who has lube?
Single entendre.
Oh, great. So now we got a greased pig.
Wait, male or female?
Does it really matter if you've got enough lube?
Only morally.
You're already doing it with another species. I think you've lost the moral argument
No.
at that point.
I think a pig is capable of consent. I just think it's unlikely.
Mike Pence is from your state,
It's a
so
it's a credit to their intelligence, not a slight upon me. Don't get this twisted. This isn't about how weird I am. This is about how smart pigs are.
oh, don't get me started on ducks,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
little assholes.
Yeah, because duck fucking is a whole nother.
No, no, not
Hey,
fucking.
Jen.
They're mafia. Ducks are mafia.
Jenny's trying to be brave and join us.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yup.
Well,
So
yeah, we definitely got to see about getting her a proper computer.
there's a bunch of people I want to get a computer.
Yeah. I wish it was an area I knew more about, because actually I'll be within driving distance of Jenny now. But I'm kind of at the level that if somebody else picks out all the parts, I could probably assemble one, but that's about the extent of my skills. And even then, I wouldn't trust myself to install the software properly.
I see.
I can't figure out what Windows is doing to my computer half the time.
I don't know what's going on most of the time.
Yeah, well, just at least once a week, my computer just does something that seems completely random to me, and I have no idea what happened.
Sounds like you're on a laptop.
Me?
Yeah. Are you on a laptop?
Nope, I've got a desktop.
Okay.
It's just a bit of an older one.
Do you have any overheating problems?
No,
No? Okay.
no, I haven't, had anything that seems to be a hardware problem. It just seems to be that, Windows decides to occasionally randomly reset things.
Okay. Dog, pirate, Artie, where are you?
Right here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Dog.
What's up?
I'm happy. Ish. I wasn't happy earlier, but I'm happy now.
Uh,
Groovy. I'm nervous. I'm hanging out with the coolest people on the YouTubes.
I'm far from cool.
Well, I suppose as talking monkeys go, you're tolerable. Does that work for you?
Sure.
well, if I'm not cool, I can go step outside. I'm sure it's dropped below 20 degrees by now.
I'm getting another storm in 4 days.
I'm just hoping we
Same.
don't have any significant storm before the move.
It was like hot here today. It got up to 30.
Oh, that is pretty warm.
It was actually quite warm.
Yeah.
And
Any
like,
significant melt?
yeah, it looked all melty and everything. And we've, for like the last week or more than a week, we've been hovering around zero.
Did did you catch the bit tonight where I talked about my friend had a bit of trouble figuring out how to use her new can opener?
I did not catch that.
No.
Yeah. Uh had to buy a can opener for someone and they had to put the little handle on it, but they thought they did it wrong because they didn't realize they had to puncture the can for the electric can opener to work.
Ah,
Yeah, and I had to go over and figure out what the problem was. Well, it was just can positioning. But I had to walk down a narrow walkway and then up frozen stairs. And above me was 3 feet of roof ice that was sliding off. And you could see the bits that had
yikes.
fallen. But I figured if that goes, I'm going to get killed.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, trying to walk as far through the narrow hallway as I can, or alley. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't understand how something like that could pass a safety code.
Yeah.
I was literally shaking in my shoes. I was terrified.
I know the kind of thing you're talking about, and unfortunately have seen many instances of that.
Scary.
It the ice itself up on the roof looks to be like an inch and a half, and it's got like 3 to 4 feet of icicles hanging off of it, and I'm going, oh boy, if that falls now, I'm not gonna be happy.
Yeah, that could do some damage.
It could kill somebody, in my opinion, but
Yeah, potentially.
I know somebody died due to a roof slide a few years ago. But I'm sitting there going, um, uh, shit, uh, I don't know. Got through it though without getting killed, obviously.
Hmm. Just don't yodel on your way down. Cause an avalanche.
All I know is I'm just glad I didn't have to spend too much time figuring out the can opener.
Yep.
Yeah, them things can be tricky.
It was actually quite funny. And I'm still amused by it. Not
I was
because
kind
not because I think my friend is being dumb, but like really.
I was kind of mean to a coworker once, just a few years ago at my previous job.
Uh,
They had we had a kitchen and we cooked food and stuff, and I used to deliver it. And a coworker had cut her thumb opening one of the big can of mushrooms, and I told her she had to be sharper than the lid.
oh no! I like that.
She didn't laugh.
I did, so that's all that matters.
Sharper than the hammer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Everybody's
one
being
I've
so
used on a
funny.
couple of people was that they were sharp as a bowling ball.
I have a good bowling ball story. Took the kids out bowling when I was a nanny, and brought some friends with me to make sure that you know bathroom runs were covered and things like that. Make sure that no none of the children got stolen. And my friend complimented the 6 year old She got mad because she didn't know what the vocabulary word meant. So she walked up to him and slammed her bowling ball into his lap.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Uh huh. And I looked at him and said, "You gotta be careful with the kids. They're deadly." The 13-year-old looks at the youngest one and said, "You're a real ball buster." Literally. It was funny. Well, you see, doorknob head, when I'm not so young that I don't have a whole bunch of experiences, and I still have my memory, so I can tell you a lot of stories.
It's the joy part.
I'm just glad that I didn't reproduce.
Me too. I mean,
Yeah,
me.
I feel I did pretty good because I figured what was important about me were things I could teach. They didn't need to have my genetic material.
My
Actually,
son,
all things considered, they're probably better off if my genetic material isn't in the next generation.
no, my son turned out all right.
That's
He's
good.
got 10 and 10.
I
Well, I
was
was saying earlier that, I've helped raise 9 kids. None of them had my DNA. So now 3 of them are in college and none of them are in jail. So I'm counting that as a win.
Yeah, don't confuse my comment with me having raised my son.
I figure for the most part, the kids have probably turned out better than I did.
I'm going to say that my son has certainly not suffered from having come from my loins. Sounds like I'm bragging, but I feel like if you can't say that, that's kind of a comfortable admission about yourself.
Oh, no. No, I just mean with me, that all of that could have come with the dyslexia, Tourette's, and Asperger's, and,
Oh yeah, no, I,
you know,
I, I, I will never suggest that there isn't a benefit to modern medicine in my ability to have extended the the tree of my family because I've had asthma my whole life, and without modern medicine, I would not have survived into my teens. So
mm,
I get
can't
it.
can't exactly brag about how awesome my genes are. Only that, near as I can tell, my son hasn't suffered from having half of them come from me.
well, the weird thing is that for all the defects, I still think I've got a better than average chance of beating 100.
All I
I've
know
got a
is
lot of little problems, but nothing that's likely to be fatal.
I've had enough accidents and things in my life that if it wasn't for modern medicine, I would have died before I was 10. So, I mean, it's just a natural
Yeah.
progression to say, I'm out of the gene pool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I would say the same thing, although most of what happened to me before I was like 14 was the result of being the youngest of many siblings.
Really?
Well, okay, my next brother up, I do think is mentally not as sharp as he should have been. And I think this is all because I was better at hiding than he was. So every time the two oldest brothers came up with a new carnival ride, he wound up being the test pilot.
Oh no.
Somebody's got to do it.
Right. And that's what I mean. I was better at hiding, so they always got him first.
Oh, that poor
Exactly.
thing.
So yeah, I think he got bounced on the head a few too many times.
Yeah, you don't have to be hit the hardest.
No, just the most.
Yeah.
A minute.
Thereabouts, anyway.
We
Top
got into
five.
trouble. My cousins and I got into huge trouble. We had stopped in Wisconsin after the train crash, So,
Mm.
and my aunt had a three-story house there with a laundry chute that went into the basement. Well, all the adults decided to go out for a nice dinner. And, this is back in the 70s when people were nice enough to leave their children at home with and getting a babysitter. So, as soon as the babysitter showed up, my cousins disappeared and they took me with them. And we went into the floorboards and down the laundry chute and we hung out there for hours. The poor babysitter cried. And it was terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. The adults came home. This poor woman is beside herself. She can't find the children. She can't find the children. She can't find any of us. There's six of us missing. And, you know, the adults come home. We all appear. Everyone's getting screamed at. And I'm just a clueless little one. And my uncle's yelling at everybody. And I'm smiling. And my aunt's like, "And what do you have to say for yourself?" And I said, "I didn't make a sound." I swear my uncle would have killed me if my mother wasn't there. I was so proud of myself for doing what I was told. I didn't even register I was in trouble. Okay, that flopped.
Yep. No, it didn't. I just, you know,
We were terrible kids. We're just terrible.
You just
I was
didn't.
a
You were just playing a game.
yeah, that seems like a very normal kid thing to me.
I was
It
a
was,
perfectly behaved kid, never did no wrong.
well, I thought I was behaving because I didn't make a sound.
Exactly.
Yep.
I did what I was told. That's all
Yep.
I cared about. It's like
And
I'm
you
so proud of
trusted family
myself.
members more than a stranger.
Always. Especially, I mean, we did have to stop in Wisconsin because of the train. So
I set an army tank on fire once,
what?
like a real one, like a military tank.
Why? How?
Well, would you call it on fire or in fire? I set a fire in a tank, technically. Um, my hometown, there was an old, like World War II or something, army tank
Hmm.
on the front lawn of the courthouse as like a monument. And there's a time capsule from like 1955 there, and everybody hangs out at the park and climbs on the tank. All the kids always climb on the tank and stuff, right? So it's all welded shut, so nobody gets in there. Um, but there's an open slot on the top where crap falls in, people throw their garbage in,
Oh
and it
no.
and it opens to the driver's area, and I don't know. Me and a friend were fucking around town one night, and I had grabbed a book of matches from the convenience store.
How old were you?
Uh-oh.
And I was just having fun, just lighting matches and letting them burn on the ground. I'm not an arsonist, people. I promise. I I did that sort of thing very rarely.
Again,
Um,
it's normal fascination for teenagers and preteens.
yeah, I was a freshman in high school, so I should have known better. But we were climbing on the tank, and my stupid ass, I decided I wanted to see what it looked like in there, and
Oh
I
no.
forgot all about the garbage and leaves and freaking cushions on the seats, and I was just thinking, it's just bare metal, right? It'll flare up down there. I'll get a good look for a few seconds, and that'll be it. No, that's not what happened.
Oh no.
It lit up everything in there.
Yeah, I suppose if people had been dumping trash in there.
Oh yeah, and it was like, I mean, it's like right uptown in a small town. There's a restaurant right there. People are everywhere. Uh, so yeah, it didn't go unnoticed. And my stupid ass was actually running around grabbing glasses of water from like the restaurant and shit, trying to put it out.
Oh no.
It was futile.
Well, at least you made some kind of attempt, I suppose.
It was kind of cool. There was smoke pouring out the barrel. It did look kind of neat.
Uh, my ex's best friend accidentally set himself on fire while wearing
Mm.
parachute pants.
Oh dear, I used to have some of those.
Mhm. Okay, so the side chat's on Be Mindful said I'm not a serial killer. So if you make sure you always shoot two people at the same time, are you then a parallel killer?
What? No.
Oh. Well, I once came home from the supermarket and killed an entire box of cereal in an afternoon.
How did I know
Dark.
that was coming? How?
Yep.
I never did that. I just came up with that.
That's pretty good.
Oh, Handsome Kitty is getting comfortable because I finally stopped moving things around and putting things in boxes. He has been very stressed out, watching everything disappear into a big pile of boxes, and he can't even get into the boxes to play.
Oh, I miss my kitty.
Yeah, I've only had 6 months of my life that I did not have cats in the house, and that was very difficult for me. One of the advantages of the new place is where I am now, it only allows one animal per apartment. The new building allows two animals per apartment, although I think Sammy's pretty much happy with being the only one, so.
I was gonna say, some cats don't get along with extras.
Well, I had actually gotten him to be a companion for my last cat after I had lost one, but it just seems his personality that he is routinely bullied by every female cat that he has been near. So I think he's happier just being the only one here. Although certainly, him and Petunia have kind of gotten used to each other and will be visiting each other, but at least we can send her home at night.
Exactly.
Yeah. I definitely have to make sure though that he's got some good spots. He needs high places. That's how he feels safe.
I just got a text.
Oh, by Kitty.
No, my friend is being. Okay, she went to California. She's got a long haired cat. I told her, your cat doesn't like being touched around the tail. And I was over there with the can opener, and pat the cat too far down, and she took a swipe at me. And I told her, look, she doesn't want to be touched near the tail. That was my fault. Meanwhile, she's yelling at the cat. And now she's like, why didn't you tell me about the tail thing? And it's like, she's your cat. You haven't noticed? One, and two, I did tell you before.
Hmm.
Just, oh, I'm mad. I told her. And anyone who has a cat like that should know, especially if they brush them, and I know she does.
Yeah. Well, I think Petunia has a bad hip because she's very protective of her right hip. If you touch that, she will bite you. She's pretty bitey in general, but that spot will guarantee it.
uh,
Although she's come a long way since she's been living with us. She used to actually bite hard and draw blood, but, you know, now it's just kind of a quick little warning nip.
thing is, like, anytime this cat does any swiping, she gets yelled at. And
Yep,
it's like, I told her when she got back, you gotta watch around that tail. Just gotta watch around that tail.
yep.
And now she's acting like her cat's been damaged the entire time. It's been like 4 years. And it's the second time it's come up between us, but it's like, I told you then about her tail.
Yeah. Well, let's be mindful saying that she should get the cat checked, and yeah, because often that can be a sign that they've got some type of injury there.
Cats are very delicate. They have very delicate little skeletons. You
Yep,
can't spank them. You can't do all kinds of things. That's why you have to let a cat be a cat. But like, I'm very careful only to, if you pet long body strokes, you can overstimulate a cat and make them attack you. They get like hyper,
yep.
or, you know, she should know this. She's a cat owner. She lives with the cat. She should notice these things. What the fuck? Oh well. I'm so annoyed right now. I can't even tell you. Because I got the
Humans.
message. I got the message. And it's like, why didn't you tell me? I did. If someone's not going to pay attention, it's not my fault.
That's how I feel with my family most of the time. It's like most of the things that come up with as issues are things that I told them about months or years ago, usually repeatedly, and they decided that they didn't want to hear it at the time.
I'm so annoyed. How do you not like get consumed with annoyance? Because I'm really, really very annoyed. Why
Yeah,
didn't you tell me about that? I already told you about that. And anyone who has a long-haired cat, especially a long-haired one, should know that because they tend to get like mats and stuff in that area and skin irritations because of it. But it's my fault? I don't think so.
yep. I know what
Anyway,
you mean, and yeah, just and how somebody could be living with an animal and not be aware of that.
exactly. I mean, I was talking to my sister and the electric blanket went off and the cat started to complain and she's like suddenly he's irritated and I said, "Well, check his electric blanket." She's like, "You're right, turned off." Cat had arthritis, wanted the electric blanket on,
Hmm.
especially in an Adirondack winter.
Yep.
I was on the phone and I could figure that out. I don't know. Anyway, I need to go to bed. I'm sorry.
No, actually, that's quite fine. I was pretty much figuring on wrapping this up at 1 o'clock, which is less than 10 minutes from now.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm just suddenly very annoyed with my friend, and I don't want to drag down the stream, but I really am angry.
I would be too. Yeah, I'm used to having damaged animals because I always wind up getting shelter rescues or strays. So,
Oh,
used to spending several months.
one.
Yeah, I'm used to spending 6 months figuring out what their problems are.
She's had this one since it was a kitten.
Yeah.
You should know your own animal, especially if every time you touch something, she swipes at you.
Yeah, like I said, after a few months, you should start figuring out some patterns and you should be able to make some kind of deductions.
Yeah,
But then again, maybe the person is not as smart as the cat.
I don't think that's the case. I just, I just think that you know the cat is owned by a dog person, is used to dogs, and because there's been times I'm like, you can't do that with a cat. Well, I'm gonna do that. It's like, fine, do that, but you can't really do that with a cat.
Hmm.
Few days before Christmas, she said she got my cat a sweater,
Sorry.
and I said I wasn't gonna put a sweater on my cat,
Yep.
and she got mad at me because I wasn't gonna put a sweater on my cat. Can you imagine how I would feel if I put a sweater on my Patsy and Patsy was upset and then died because you can't stress a cat? Not like that.
Yep.
It's not funny to do that. It's just not funny. And
No, that's something I've had a lot of problems with is the people who put the animals in these cute little outfits, and especially if you're struggling to get the animal into it,
or a
Yeah.
hat with their ears smashed against their little heads.
Yep.
What atrocities humans don't commit for vanity.
Just makes me angry. Like my mother's dog is this tiny little thing with very perky ears, huge ears. My mother keeps her out of the wind because, earaches, ear infections, that kind of thing. We try to imagine what it's like to be that little creature and how it would feel to be, thrust into a sweater or whatever. Mind you, Roxy has a little raincoat, but it has straps and Velcro and doesn't mess with those ears. There's some considerations we do, but
Yeah.
she's tiny, and walking her in the rain is like, oh boy, it would be like walking a human in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am debating with Sammy. See, here we've been letting them run out in the hallway to get some exercise,
Hmm.
and I know we're not going to be able to do that in the new building.
Well, if you don't mind me saying, I think cat shelves are a good idea.
You think what?
Cat shelves.
Cat shelves?
Yeah, those little shelves that they can run up and down along the wall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well that's why I was saying that, he needs some high places. So yeah, he needs some, something he can climb on.
Hmm. My sister's cat has arthritis, so they have little steps all over the house so that he can access every windowsill without hurting his hips.
Yeah, well and that's for Petunia too. Like I say, she has trouble jumping up. So anything that's more than about 16 inches high, I need to, give her a step for.
Hmm.
But I am debating with Sammy's son. Um, I think I'll probably try him with a harness to see how he does with it. Because
Well,
if he'll be okay with it, then I, could take him out to play in the grass after the snow melts.
I suggest putting it on and taking it off. Put it on for a minute, take it right off. Put it on for 5 minutes,
Yep.
take it off. 10 minutes, take it off. Then let him.
Yeah, get him used to it in short bits.
Hmm. And
Well,
eventually,
that's
so he
why
can
I'm,
keep it
I
on for
think
an
if
hour.
starting it now and figuring it, give him a couple of months to get used to it before I'd actually try to take him outside with it.
Hmm. And do that slowly too. So
Yeah, mostly I just, I think if he got the idea of it, I think he'd enjoy being able to go out in the grass and chase bugs. Because, he wants to hunt things and there's nothing in the apartment that he can hunt, and he gets bored with toys so easily because they don't move on their own.
I understand.
He wants to sit there and do the ambush thing, then he wants to sit and wait for it to creep close enough. So if it's not going to walk around on its own, he has no interest in trying to hunt it. But
Anyhow,
yeah, on the occasion that, I mean, he goes nuts even if we get a fruit fly in here.
that's cute. I love when they get excited over bugs and things.
Okay, well, it is 1 o'clock, so I should be shutting this down and I should try to lay down for a few hours myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Let me just check here. Uh, yeah, there he is.
And I have to take this person to work in the morning too.
Oh
After
boy.
the why didn't you tell me when I already did?
Okay, and One Ring is planning to pick up the stream in the morning, and it is also going to be his 100 subs Q&A. So I dropped a link
Groovy.
to that in the side chat.
Cool.
Oh, okay, that's actually running a little bit later than I had thought. So it looks like there would be some overlap. Because Bad Temper Badger was also planning on starting in the morning.
Badger's funny.
And he does not have a specific link up, but I'll drop his channel link in the side chat there. And regardless of what people feel like watching, these are both channels you should be subscribing to. Although for totally different reasons. Very different personalities, but both doing some interesting things. And
Which is
Bad Temper
awesome.
Badger, especially if you want to hear about Star Wars. So, did anyone else have anything that they wanted to talk about or plug or anything?
Not
No,
particularly.
I'm good.
Nah.
Anybody?
This is about you, honey. I don't want to plug anything for myself.
Did I already lose everybody?
We're here.
I'm, I'm still here.
Me too.
I don't think he can hear us.
Hmm.
Purple, if can you hear us, say something if we can.
Oh no.
That's bizarre.
Right at the end too.
That's funny. I'll get it right. We can hear you.
And also, after Badger,
We can
Dick
hear
Dawson is
you.
going to pick up the stream.
You can't hear us.
So, thanks everybody.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
IQ for
Yeah.
shilling for us.
Ooh, we can say rude things. You'd never know.
Okay, so people are talking and I'm not hearing you. Why
Yep.
would that be?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on,
This is funny.
but I guess I'm just going to have to shut down the stream here.
Do duck farts smell? I'm
So,
being so
thanks
rude.
everybody. We will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.